Hi! If you are just starting to learn trading or you are already trading on Pocket Option but often catch yourself making mistakes, this video is for you. Right now I'll show you the platform from the inside, break down common beginner mistakes and walk through a few real trades so you understand the logic behind the entries instead of just clicking buttons at random. If this format resonates with you, on my Telegram channel I share my trading every day, talk about traders' lifestyle and publish personal signals that you can simply copy. The link is in the description. And now let's take a look at the screen. We are now in the quick trading mode. This is a perfect starting point for a beginner. If you have just started to be interested in trading, everything is friendly for you here. Because a simple interface, a very clear platform, there are no complex settings. That is the main mistake of beginners is that they drain money not because of the strategy, but because they press the buttons incorrectly. That is, they did not learn to work on the platform and do some wrong things. Unthinkable. I hope you will not do this. I will give you some of my experience and show you how to use the platform safely without draining your deposit. What would you like to go to? So here we choose a currency pair. I have a euro-dollar. I will try several pairs today. What's next? Here we choose time frame, that is, the station is there, let's say 5 seconds to understand the market impulse. There are candles up, that is, the impulse is clearly the trend in principle is rising, but now there is an impulse to the top, because long candles are formed at the top, now it somehow aligns. But still you see, here the price is fighting. In principle, let's see now a more general picture of 30 seconds. Well, nevertheless, yes, it is clearly rising. I will set a minute. That is, the trend is rising. Again, we can draw now some lines to understand. Here you can draw lines. Trend line. Here it shows a rising trend. Here you see that the trend is going up. We can also note points of the horizontal line fall. Here we choose, that is, I show you in principle how to use it. Here there was a fall, yes, but nevertheless long angles are a sign of an ascent. Time frames, yes, here we set our order and again we set the time frame here. On short time frames the deal is fast, on long ones it's calmer. Type of graphics, for example, what I wanted to show you. Type of graphics, we have candles set, and this is the most convenient type for me personally, because candles tell us a lot about the market and help us a lot in the analysis. Again, you can choose bars. Here's such a story. Yes, this is another type of candles, but we will set the second one so you can choose in line. But I mainly use candles and I recommend you, at least at the beginning, try to consider the graphics with candles. But we will repeatedly return to other types in other videos, graphics. But for now, let's look at the candles. They give, as it were, just more information. Again, what exactly the candles tell us? We can clearly determine the trend of them. That is, if the candles are long, yes, it's like the market impulse. Here is the impulse to increase the short ones. If a row of short ones begins, it already goes as leveling the situation. That is the decline, but while we see a clear tendency to increase. I think now on the example of this pair, I will open the first order. Well, I have a pair of euros and dollars. Volume I will set, now let it be 30 minute time frame, and since the trend is rising I have some movements down to now, but I think that below. Now we will wait until it goes down, and I think that after how it will give such indicators somewhere now, I will open on increase. Well, plus or minus I put here, and I'm still waiting for it to go down. It's important for us to understand when we open the order and what. We see the rising trend was studied in the section of different time frames, and now we are just waiting for the price to go down a little and to open here. Perhaps here I open and waiting for results. Here is a small candle, you can see it is going to increase. That is, we opened it in time. We waited when this candle will close, will stop going down, and now we are waiting for how the situation will develop further. I think anyway, one way or another, it will be leveled to those indicators. We will now close to the end of the minute in plus. An important mistake of beginners is to determine well how much money you're ready to risk. That is 2-3% of the deposit you must be ready to lose them, and then you cannot risk all deposits because, well, or even half of deposits, you just so very quickly merge everything in a few transactions. It is better to have several correct entries than chaotic trading at random. We do not anything at random. We carry out analytics, and then we are here to trade stably in plus. It is very, very important. Here you see for yourself, we earned 57.16. This is our first order. Now let's move on to the second pair of hours. Let it be the British pounds, Canadian dollar, but the tendency to decrease is general. But if in the span of 1 minute, now we'll look in the span of an hour. Look at what kind of jump was up. This candle goes down a lot now. Somehow it dangles in the center. The tendency to decrease is still in the span of 1 minute, and I think we will open the order also in the span of the 1 minute. Well, here the candles are already going up. I will open for purchase. It seems to me that the situation will reach this level, and within a minute it will rise, because there are large candles about it all the same, but such here they are doubled, go next to there are tails, as it were hints that the price will rise. We open. Everything in the same volume, the volume opened with the same time frame, and we are waiting for the situation to develop again. If you see that well, the situation is not your favor. It is better to close well with less loss. Well, here I see that there is, as it were, a tendency. I will not close. I still see that there is tendency to rise. Such an impulse is not even a tendency. This is an impulse because the market is quite chaotic here. After all, volatility is strong if you take the overall picture. Again, we look at everything in the span of several time frames. You don't need to look at everything in one only, because it will not give you accurate analytics. That is, you don't rush for quick earnings. You conduct detailed analytics and then open the order. You don't need to anything at random. If you do it at random, you are very likely to very quickly merge your deposit, and we don't need it. We need plus transactions. Here 54, there is also a successful transaction. This, as you can see, we analyzed this section of several time frames. The general tendency that there was such a punch up, and the situation gradually went down. Some candles up to such false punches with long tails, and such a tendency tangle somewhere in the middle range. This is in the section of the hour, but we, as it were, put the order in the section of the minute, and I'll look at the minute time frame. And there were hints of an increase, because here is a row of candles up to a row that go tails. They are connected by the fact that there is an impulse for an increase. So we did exactly this in a minute. Which I want to say in the final. Well, the most common mistakes of beginners that are allowed again do not know how to work with their deposit. I will repeat, and I will not get tired of repeating this at least in each video. You must risk 2 or 3% of your deposit. This is an important point. Then, if you see the transaction is not in your favor, you better close with minimum losses, then wait for it to go down even lower. This is an important point. Do not against the trend define the trend in the section of different time frames. What I said. That is, you should not press the buy and sell button without market analysis. This is not a casino. I repeat, this is an analytic approach to trading that will allow you to earn in the long run. We are here in order to earn in the long run. This is an important point. And remember, your main task is not to earn quickly, but not to lose quickly, because you can lose everything very quickly. If you do not calculate the size of the bet, if you do not calculate the general trend, if you do not analyze the market in the section of different time frames, if you don't analyze currency pair, that is, you must carefully approach everything. Then you will trade in plus. In general, I showed you what basic buttons I use. Here everything is simple. Again and repeat. Here time frames, here we choose candles, but also in the future we will look at the video and other types of graphics. Here we choose the lines that draw the trend line. Do the horizontal lines that we can mark, the top and bottom. That is, the more you pay attention to this, the sooner you will understand how to trade in plus. We are in no hurry, we take concision steps, and then our trading will definitely bring us money. We are here to earn money, and the main thing is to earn stable every day. Keep in mind, most of the mistakes I showed are not made because the market is complicated, but because people rush and trade without a system. If you want to see how I enter trades in real time, why I make certain decisions, and how I work on this platform every day, I share all of that on my Telegram channel. There, I also publish personal signals that you can simply copy. And I share not only trading content, but my real life as well, unfiltered. The link to the channel is in the description below the video. Subscribe and I'll see you there. This was Ellen Trader. Bye everyone, and see you next time.